is the state.
Let me take you back to 2002. The original Xbox was out for a few months, but there was nothing that really made me want to get that console. I know they made Halo, but honestly, I didn't care about Halo. And why would I want an Xbox in the first place when I already own the greatest console of all time, the PlayStation 2? There was nothing in the Xbox library that would ever make me even think about getting one. But for some reason, my cousin ended up getting the damn console. And even though I'm PlayStation for life, I at least wanted to see what the Xbox had to offer since he had it. But funny enough, what intrigued me wasn't even the console itself, but the games he owned for it. See, my cousin owned this combo disc that had 2 games on it, and I had never seen this before. One disc with 2 separate games on it. And on this combo disc was a game called Sega GT 2002 and another game called Jet Set Radio Future. And what I didn't know at the time was that one of these 2 games would change my life forever. When I booted up Jet Set Radio Future for the first time, I immediately fell in love with it. I did not believe in love at first sight until I played this game. From the gameplay, the graphics, the style, the characters, and the biggest highlight of all, the music.
Sweet.
This was the soundtrack that formed my taste in music for the foreseeable future. I could spend hours on this game, not even progressing, but simply running around the areas in this game with the music in the background. I was still new to gaming around this time, but even I could tell that Jet Set Radio Future was something special compared to the small library of games I played up to that point. And for the longest time, this game stood tall as my favorite game of all time. I could do a whole review on this game, but instead, I want to give props to a content creator named Martinez for creating the greatest documentary and quite possibly the greatest video on Jet Set Radio Future. Jet Set Radio Future is without a doubt platinum seal, and if you want to know why, his video's link will be in the description. Hell, my only problem with this game is the fact that it was only on the goddamn Xbox. For decades, the Xbox was the only way you could play this game. Hell, it's still not on any other console. The only reason it's accessible to the PC now is because of emulators. This pissed me off for years because the original Jet Set Radio was re-released on every other console. And while I do love the original, Jet Set Radio Future never got as popular because of this reason. And because of that, very few people even know that this game exists, unless you had an Xbox or you're a huge fan of Jet Set Radio. But maybe with Jet Set Radio getting all these ports, this could lead to a third game, like when The World Ends With You got ported to the Switch. So all we have to do is be patient.
Why?
Do you guys just not want my money? For years, I have waited for another Jet Set Radio game, but it seems to me that they don't care. But apparently, someone else did. And their name is Team Reptile. They knew that Sega wasn't going to give us a Jet Set Radio game anytime soon. So they said to themselves, well, fuck it, I'll make it then. So Bomb Rush Cyberfunk came out in 2023, and I have been looking forward to this game since the first trailer released back in 2021. I followed everything about this game from that point on. I even downloaded tracks from the game before the game even came out because I heard them in the trailers. I know I talked about the problems with hyping up video games in my last video, but you don't understand. I needed this game to be good. I needed the characters to look good. I need the areas to be good. I need the music to be good. I needed this game.
I need it.
But the question is, now that the game is finally out, did the game live up to the inspiration? Absolutely not. It fucking surpassed it. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is one of the most addictive games I have ever played in my entire life, and I am probably playing it as I'm recording this video. So in this game, you wake up in jail as this guy named Fox, and get freed from said jail by this guy named Trice. As Trice wants Fox to join his crew Bomb Rush Cyberfunk because Fox is known as one of the big 3 writers in New Amsterdam. So after the tutorial breakout ends, the new dynamic duo after a successful escape start making their way to Trice's hideout until Fox gets his head cut off. So Fox wakes up at Trice's hideout with a new head.
What the fuck?
And Trice tells Fox, who is now known as Red, that the one who cut his head off was the leader of the #1 gang in New Amsterdam, DJ Cyber, who is also one of the big three alongside Fox. But unlike Fox, Red doesn't have his memories. So Trice comes up with a great idea to take out all the gangs in New Amsterdam, work their way up the ranks to take out DJ Cyber's crew, and take Fox's head back in the process. Because to Trice, it's apparently obvious that DJ Cyber would still have Fox's head and not just, leave it there.
What the fuck?
So now the gang's goal is to take over all the areas in New Amsterdam, get Fox's head back, and become All City. Okay, so the plot is very absurd. But for a game like this, the absurdity makes sense. And I honestly wasn't expecting much from the story in this game, but I actually got more invested in the story than I thought I would. I would call the story for this game simple but effective. But even with its simplicity, there were a few plot twists in the game that I honestly didn't expect. So I give the game mad props for making such an intriguing story, considering that the story was never the selling point to begin with. I'm not gonna act like the shit was phenomenal storytelling, but it worked for what the story needed. But speaking of selling points, let's talk about the gameplay. The gameplay for Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is obviously very similar to the Jet Set Radio series, but refined to perfection. From jumping to grinding to sliding to landing, every button in this game felt very precise to what I was hitting, and any mistake I made always felt like my fault for not timing it properly. Speaking of which, I was not really a fan of the spray painting mechanic in the original Jet Set Radio. I didn't hate it, I just much preferred the spray and go style in Jet Set Radio Future. But after playing Bomb Rush, this way of spray painting is better than both of those games. The mechanic starts off very simple by following the pattern until you get the graffiti you want. But when you get good at it and start to remember certain patterns for specific graffiti, you can execute that shit so fast and it is so fun to master it. I can tell that Team Reptile loved both of the Jet Set Radio games, and because of that, they took the best aspects of both of these games. But unlike Jet Set Radio, where you can only ride on rollerblades, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk gives you 3 new ways to traverse in this game: skateboards, BMX bikes, and Nike Air Max. Now, none of these vehicles really change up your playstyle, with the exception of the Nike Air Max running, allowing you to high jump and slide under doors, but each vehicle does allow you to open up certain paths in this game that are exclusive to each vehicle, and opening these paths will most likely reward you with a collectible. And I love the fact that all of the collectibles in this game actually feel like they're worth collecting, because they made them things that we actually care about: costumes, graffiti, and music tracks. And it's about time we talk about the style and music for this game. Here's an important thing you should know about me. I don't give a fuck about graphics. That shit can look as realistic as possible, but I will not bat an eye if the characters and the world itself looks bland and lifeless. I grew up with the PS1. You really think I care that much about graphics? For me, style is everything. Even at the lowest quality, style can always make up for that in a video game, where good graphics can never make up for the lack of style. Parappa the Rapper on the PS1. The World Ends With You on the Nintendo DS. Silent Hill on the PS1. None of the graphics in these games are high quality whatsoever, but it doesn't matter because the style in these games make up for that. Style can help build a world while also creating an atmosphere that's unique to it, and the Jet Set Radio series is the pinnacle of style. So Bomb Rush Cyberfunk had big shoes to fill if they truly wanted to take the essence that made Jet Set Radio so unique. And this is exactly why we need more companies like Team Reptile, because not only were they up for the challenge, they shot it out of the park and into my car with this game. I may need a new car, but I have no complaints because they hit a home run. The style for Bomb Rush Cyberfunk makes me want to cry for how nostalgic it made me. From the character designs to the areas, they absorbed the essence of Jet Set Radio and shot it completely into this game. And that includes the soundtrack. I already told you guys I downloaded tracks in the game before the game even came out, so is the soundtrack good? Of course it's good! It is the best soundtrack I've heard in a video game in a while, at least since Persona 5. I am so happy that Team Reptile was so successful with this game, and I cannot wait to see what they make in the future. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk Future. But with all that said, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk gave us a crazy story, great style, addictive gameplay, and music that's still stuck in my head. If you want to support a company that is truly passionate about their games, then I 100% recommend you buy this game. So with all that said, my final verdict for Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is the Platinum Seal of Approval.